Did you know that making decisions is a whole lot easier than most people actually make it out to be? I mean, we get so cooped up in the decision making process that we actually paralyze ourselves. And it's literally because y'all don't have the tips and tricks that KiMu is about to discuss in this video. Let's get it.
To the riches, on the road to the dollars, on the road as a scholar, so I could join the top five.
Peace and blessings. What's going on, y'all? Y'all have now tuned in with your host, yours, the one and only KiMu JTD, and you are now rocking with KiMu, where I am going to bring awareness to the potential that lies deep within inside of you, and we're going to pull it out so that you can learn the tips, tricks, and techniques that are going to get you to achieve any and every goal that you desire in your life. So if that's something that you want to get into, if that's something you want to hear more of, if those tips, tricks, and techniques are something that you want to get a whole lot more deeper into, hey, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, do yourself a favor. I know you want to. Go ahead, press it. Go ahead, press it. Yes, I know you hit that subscribe button. So now that I know that you are ready to tune in and lock in with KiMu, let's get into it. But we're going to start with this. See, the thing is, actually, there's a quote that I heard in one of my favorite movies, actually. It's a musical. I'm not a really big musical person, but it's a musical, and the main reason why I actually watched it is because it has one of my favorite music groups in it, and that's Outkast. I love Outkast. And the movie is called Idlewild, and in that movie, this quote will never leave my brain. I forgot what the situation was, but that's what it was. In the movie, Andre 3000's girlfriend had died. She got shot by Terrence Howard. He was the antagonist in the movie. And Andre 3000, his character went through a whole bunch of emotions, of course. I mean, his girlfriend got shot. And in the process of Big Boy's character consoling him, the one thing that he said was, God don't make no mistakes. And he said that multiple times throughout the movie. I think he said it 3 times if I remember the structure. But he said, God don't make no mistakes. You're going to find out why I'm bringing this up in this video. So let's actually get into the problems that are resulting from our lack of ability to make decisions. And actually, within making decisions, there's this one piece that's inside of us that's actually making decisions a whole lot harder, and that's literally our emotions. We could literally be put in one situation one day, make a decision, and then we're put in a very similar situation or the same situation, different context, another day, that same week, and we will make a completely different decision. We could even make the opposite decision of what we made the last time we were put in that situation. Like, for example, where I am, violence occurs for somebody stepping on somebody's shoes. Now, to me, I think that's irrational. I think there's a different problem that's going on. But one day you might hit somebody for stepping on your shoes. And literally another day that week, you're just like, nah, it's all good. Keep on moving. That's because on any given day and any given moment, we can be different people. And it could literally just be because of the fact that, our hormones tie into it, how our day wind ties into it. But how can we be that person that literally is making the same decision in very similar moments? Well, We're going to get into that, so stay tuned. We are not there yet. I want to share a story with you. And this, like I said, when I come here and I'm giving y'all knowledge, I'm giving y'all wisdom that I've already experienced. I'm giving you my experience. And I remember the 3 to 5 years that I was self-employed. In those 3 to 5 years, I had like three, four, five different businesses. I mean, I quit my job. I was making candles, stopped making candles. I started making t-shirts. I had a slight t-shirt line. Uh, People loved it. I stopped doing that. And then I started making beats. And then I transcended that and started mastering and engineering. Then I started recording with other artists in the area, and I was making my own music, like everything from the beat to the lyrics. Like then I had a forex trading business. Yeah, there's four right there, and a lot in every single chapter. I had issues making decisions. One, as we can see, I had an issue making a decision on what I was going to stick with. And then within though, and on the microcosmic side of it all, it was literally I hadn't really sat down with myself and tied myself to it. I let emotions get into it. I let my ignorance get into it. And just mixing emotions into that logical side, if you let your emotions override, which most people actually are running off of their emotions. If you didn't know, most people are running a whole lot off of their emotions and making these decisions, and that's where fear comes in, uncertainty. We don't doubt. That's why if you haven't checked out the building trust yourself trust video, you might want to go check that out. But a lot of times we either are too logical, which causes us to overthink, or we're too emotional and we don't even know how to really think. And we're just making decisions and they're irrational. There has to be a balance between the two. There's another hermetic principle out there. If you've been really tuning in, you know I'm with these hermetic principles, and the reason why I am is because I realize that they only don't just apply to human life, but when I look at nature, when I'm observing nature, they apply in nature also. And that hermetic principle is the law of balance. There we have this misconception that we need to balance our life or we need to create balance. But the thing is, balance already exists. You can't create the balance. The balance is already there. The balance is not always like this. The balance looks like this. It's still balanced, but it's always there. The balance is always there. So in some ways we're overcompensating for what for a weakness. But let's get deeper into that. That was just, a little tidbit, a little bit of fun fact I wanted to throw at y'all. Hopefully you caught it. But let's get into how we can start moving forward in the decision making process. One fact that we all really need to know is the fact that everybody's process is their own. There are key characteristics in different types of people. Some people, like people who are logical, people who are overthinkers, they have their own process that they need to go through in order to make decisions. And then there's other people who are more quick to make decisions and they go through their own process of making decisions. And then there's people that fall in between and their process looks different. Generally, there's general needs that need to be met in order for you to make a decision. And And those people who look for security in those processes, like people who really need facts and data, they're going to they usually take a lot more time to make a decision versus the people who are like, yo, I'm just ready, and they go ahead and they go make a decision, and they're like, all right, bet. Everybody has to focus on what they need. Everybody is different. Everybody needs are different. And that's what we have to focus on. We have to focus on getting you what you need so you can combine the logical side, that left brain, and that right brain to come together and make a dope decision that you feel confident in applying. That's the goal of this video. Getting you to a space of making dope decisions, combining that logical brain and that emotional brain to actually come together and make a dope decision that you can rock with, move forward with, and actually stick with. I mean, let's be real. People who are entrepreneurs, they probably made a logical this and they're sticking with it after 5 years, 3 years, 2 years. They made a logical and they made an emotional decision. And I'm going to tell you what got me here today to actually start making that decision to move forward. Because it wasn't just logical, it was also emotional. I made a lot of logical decisions, but I haven't stuck with them either. So it really doesn't matter what end of the spectrum you're making this decision from. You can quit at any point, and you can quit at the across the same duration of time. So let's start getting into really getting in, making decisions, and getting what you need out of your decision. And tip number one is setting a goal and or vision. Now, if you're asking me personally, I don't think setting a goal is enough for anything. I think, and this is once again, this is based off of what I have experienced and also what I have read and also what I have heard millionaires talk about. Being in the presence of millionaires and hearing how they went about making their decisions, there was always one thing. There were a few things that I got, but there was a major factor that played in them making decisions to move forward on in their life. And that one thing is having a vision. But we're going to talk about creating a vision in another video. But just setting a goal. Everybody knows how to set a goal. Either somebody's been setting goals for you or you've been setting your own goals. If you haven't been setting your own goals, you're not in control of your life. We got to start there. We really got to start there. We're not starting right there in this video. Starting with setting goals and setting a vision. I remember when I had goals, I had no vision. All of my goals were these up in here, and they were literally survival goals. They were short-term goals that were like, oh, I gotta make sure that, like, my goals literally might have been for the month, for the day. Was rocking with to-do lists. Did not help me, to be honest. And actually, to-do lists they at the time fit into my character. No longer do they. I actually transcended the to-do list into something a whole lot bigger. So setting that goal and saying, hey, this is my goal. Like, maybe your goal is I wanna be making $1 million on a yearly basis. Maybe your goal is I want to look like want to have the physique of a football player. Maybe your goal is I want a Ferrari. Maybe your goal is I want to have a healthy eating lifestyle. I want to. Maybe there are certain characteristics that you want to be. You want to be more compassionate. You want to be more loving, generous, authentic. Whatever that goal is, that's where we need to start. We need to write that down. Don't just keep it up here. Because people just have a tendency just to forget. So don't just keep it up here. Write that down. Write that bad boy down somewhere you can see it every day. And then once that goal is ingrained in your brain, then we can start we can move on to a different level and make sure that's we're working towards that. Tip number two, we can go with the old fashioned handy dandy pros and cons list. Now, when I was talking to my therapist a few years ago, we were talking about my decision making process, and I was using the pros and cons method, and she amplified me using the pros and cons method. But the thing is, in order for me to use the pros and cons method, she helped me understand how to really use it. Because just saying, oh, there's more pros and less cons is not enough. We have to look at it from a qualitative standpoint. Because if we look at it from a qualitative standpoint and we're like, okay, I have less pros, but these cons, these don't match with my goal. You see, one and two, they're going together. If the pros, like, let's be honest. Let's be honest. Most times when we don't go after our goals, our big dreams, it's because it requires a lot of emotion, and most people are so detached from their emotion that when they do get emotional, it spills out and it ends up being something that they can't even handle. Like that I don't know about other cultures, but I know in America it's it's with everybody. Everybody is Most people are so emotionally attached that it's very it's very unfortunate. But what I want to emphasize is that we're not solely focusing on the quantitative. We're not focused on how many pros there are versus how many cons. We want to focus on what do these pros align with the goal, short term and long term. That's the deeper part of tip number one, short term, long term. Because being uncomfortable, we can forget about that. If there are cons in there that is like very menial, like, oh, somebody may think bad of me, get that out of there. Oh, I don't feel like I don't feel comfortable doing that, get that out of there. That has nothing to do with you achieving your goal. What you feel like doing is completely irrelevant. All right, so that's tip number two. Pros and cons, making sure they're qualitative and making sure that both sides are either aligned or disaligned with your goal. And if you have pros that are really aligned with your goal, short term and long term, you're winning. Let's get on to the third one. Be slow to change the course when you make a decision. See, the thing is, the quicker you make decisions, not necessarily the quicker you make decisions, the quicker you change the course, the less confidence you have in your decision making abilities. The less confidence you have in your decision making abilities, the less self trust you have in yourself. Self trust, confidence, and decision making, they all go hand in hand. And if one ain't straight, the other ones ain't neither. It's like a circle, and on that circle, they different points. They need each other so that each one can be full. Each cup can be full. They pour into each other. It's very important that we understand that we can't just be like, oh, the first time I made a mistake, or oh snap, this obstacle is in the way, time to do something else. I did that. Why do you think I had 3, 4, 5 different businesses? Because I was reaching an obstacle, and now all of a sudden I'm ready to jump ship and find a new one. That's most people. I don't want you to be where you are and continue to jump ship all because you hit a wall or all because you made a mistake. No, keep going. Keep going. Okay, just like I talked about in another video, you're not if you know how to ride a bike, you didn't get it on the first try. You fell, you got back on a bike. You fell again, you got back on a bike. You fell again, you got back on a bike. When you were learning to walk, you fell, you got back up, you tried again. You fell, you got back up, you tried again. That's life. In life, we're going to fall, we're going to trip, we're going to stumble, but what makes winners winners is not the fact that it's not about how many times they fall, trip, stumble, get knocked down. And it's about how many times you get back up to fight another fight. If you saw it, if you saw Friday, John Witherspoon, when he was talking to Craig, when he had that gun, he spoke about being able to fight another day. If you waking up fighting another day and you continue to fight, you're winning. You're not a loser. Losers only accept failure. Winners continue to fail and continue to learn so that way they can accumulate more wins. All right, so we're going to move on. We're going to move on to tip number 4. Tip number 4 is you fulfilling your needs. Remember earlier I spoke about okay, everybody has different needs. Some people need a whole bunch of information. I used to be one of those people. Some people are quick to make decisions and they'll rock out with it. Some people need a little bit of incentive to make those decisions. They need gift, or they need some type of reward, or whatever the case may be. Some people, they just want to have fun. They want to make sure that that decision, they're going to have fun with that decision. Everybody has different needs, and you got to make sure that your need is fulfilled. But that's more on the emotional side. We also got to combine it with the logical side. And anytime that I remember a story, if you ever heard of Napoleon Hill, you might be familiar with this. But anytime that you are placed with all the facts, there's no holes in the facts, you can make a decision right then and there. Entrepreneurs, the successful people in the world, are able to make decisions quickly because they have all the facts. Once you have all the facts, there should be no reason why you should be deviate. Either the facts and the reward align with your goal, or they don't. And if they don't, then don't make the decision that you make will not be in favor of what has been presented to you. But once again, we're not going to move forward not either making that decision or not making the decision in favor of what the opportunity was, and then be like, dang, I wish I made that decision. No. Once again, just like Big Boy said in the movie Idlewild, God don't make no mistakes. Whether you believe in God, you don't believe in God, you do believe in some higher power, there are no such things as coincidences or mistakes. Everything is going to happen for a reason, and believe me when I say it, because I've lived through this for many, many years, analyzing and studying this. Because there are no mistakes, everything is in your favor. Everything that happens around you is in your favor. You just have to find the blessing and the opportunity within the decision that you made. Even though it may hurt, find the blessing and the opportunity in the decision that you made. And I guarantee you, you're not going to be thinking about the decision that you could have made. You're not going to be a shoulda, coulda, woulda type person. You're going to be like, okay, what can I learn from this situation, from this opportunity, so I can move forward? Yeah, I know that probably was a lot. I hope it was really helpful. We're gonna bring this to a close, cause I think I done provided y'all with more than enough to be truthfully honest on making decisions. But we're gonna review those really quick before we get out of here. So number 1, set a goal and a vision, preferably a vision, because your vision is going to really dictate what your goals are. All right. Number 2, do the old-fashioned pros and cons list, but make sure that your pros and cons list is qualitative and not quantitative. We're not saying, oh, there are more cons, I'm not making the decision in his favor. And we're not saying just because there's more pros, I'm making the decision in his favor. If you're going to say yes to one thing, you're also going to say no to another. Number three, be slow to change course. The more times you're jumping ships, the more strategies that you're applying throughout life, and you're not really tweaking any, you're not sticking with the same thing, the more that your self confidence is going to get hit, the more that your self trust is going to get hit. So let's be slow to change course. Let's stick it out. Fall, get back up. Fall, get back up. Fall, get back up, and continue to get those wins. And also make sure that you are fulfilling your needs. In order to make these decisions, fulfill your logical needs. What do you need? Do I need pictures? Do I need to know? I need to know the facts. I know the facts. Fulfill your emotional needs. Okay, my emotional needs are I need this right now. The facts are okay. What is the reward? What's the situation? What's coming out of the situation? These are the facts. No emotions. All right, so hey, per usual, this was another awesome episode. I hope I supplied you with a lot of value on making decisions in life. You have just tuned in with your host, the one and only yours truly, KiMu JTD, and you have just rocked out with me on another episode. I thank you so much. If you like the content that I gave you today, if you felt like this was valuable, go ahead, hit that like button. If you really like the content that I gave you, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and make sure you hit that bell so you get notified every time I drop a video very similar like this. And on the next step, whether you like this or you didn't, please leave me a comment. So once again, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for showing the love, because I love you too. And I will see you on the next episode. Peace and blessings.
On the road to the riches, on the road to the dollars, on the road as a scholar, so I could join the top fivers. On the road in the trenches, it's a long expedition. It gets hard, make me wanna give up and quit it.